Hey everyone, it's your girl Rina, back with another video, and oh boy, do we have some things to talk about. So in my last video about Edmonton's 5 most dangerous neighborhoods, y'all had a lot to say. Some of you were shocked, others called me out like I personally made the crime maps. Listen, I love the feedback. That's exactly why we do this, to have real conversations. Not just throw out random opinions with no receipts. Trust me, I've got the stats to back it up. And moving forward, I'll throw my sources in the description, so if you want to fact-check me, be my guest. Now, while I stand by that list, let me be real with you personally. I think downtown Edmonton deserved a spot in the top 5. And if you've lived here long enough, you probably know exactly what I mean. Ask any longtime Edmontonian, and they will tell you downtown just ain't the same anymore. Some even say it's unrecognizable, like we're in some post-apocalyptic zombie movie. And honestly, they're not wrong. The numbers don't lie. Just last month, the Edmonton Journal reported that violent crime jumped from 13,224 cases in 2019 to 16,652 in 2024. That's a massive spike. And guess where most of that's happening? Downtown and transit areas. Violent crimes downtown are 54% higher than the national average, making it safer than only 22% of cities in Alberta. And if you live here, you've got a 1 in 12 chance of becoming a victim of crime. Wild, right? And if you don't believe, go ahead and do your own research. Actually, while you're looking that up, I'll be taking a drive through downtown to show you exactly what's going on. Because numbers are one thing, but seeing it for yourself, that's a whole different story. I started my drive right by the Herb Jameson Center, a well-known emergency shelter. And let me tell you, the moment I pulled up, it was clear that things have changed. People were gathered, and the energy in the area felt heavy. Just a block over at the Hope Mission Center, it was the same story. Dozens of people waiting at the door. This is the reality of downtown Edmonton in 2025. Let's talk about homelessness and addiction, 2 crises that have become impossible to ignore. And before anyone rushes to the comments, let's be clear, this isn't about some clickbait. The truth is, when social services can't keep up, mental health support is lacking, and affordable housing barely exists, where do people go? The streets, the transit centers, the abandoned storefronts. And this isn't just a downtown problem, it's an everyone problem. And if you think I'm exaggerating, just take a look around. And we know Edmonton winters aren't just cold, they're brutal. The minus 35 degrees Celsius kind of brutal. Now, imagine facing that with nowhere to go. As of October 2024, nearly 5,000 people in Edmonton were experiencing homelessness. That's a staggering 47% increase from the year before. Shelters like Herb Jameson, with 400 beds, are overwhelmed. But instead of adding resources, the city's solution has been dismantling encampments. In 2024 alone, nearly 9,500 encampments were cleared out. That's a 42% increase from the year before. And from all that cleanup, it dumped 1.6 million kilograms of waste, which, let's be real, was people's personal belongings and survival gear. We keep hearing about solutions, but so far, all we've done is push the problem somewhere else. Now, where do you think all these displaced individuals went? Nowhere. They just got pushed around from one area to the next with no real solution in place. And while Edmonton Police Service reported a 2.5% decrease in the city's overall crime rate in 2024, that doesn't tell the whole story. Just because reported crime went down slightly doesn't mean the situation on the ground feels any safer. When homelessness is increasing, when addiction is more visible, when shelters are shutting down during the day, it doesn't matter what the crime stats say, because the experience on the ground tells a very different story. Now, let's talk about the A. McDonald building sitting right next to Rogers Place Arena. This beautiful, historic red brick warehouse has been sitting vacant for over a decade. Built in 1913, it was once a thriving wholesale grocery hub. The city even poured public money into turning it into affordable housing in the early 2000s. But surprise! Mismanagement derailed the plan, and Alberta Health Services eventually shut it down. And today, it's just another empty building, adding to downtown's long list of wasted opportunities. But the A. McDonald building is just one example. Downtown Edmonton has a bigger problem: vacancy, crime, and businesses leaving. As of Q4 2023, downtown office vacancy was at 24.2%, one of the highest in the country. Even the ICE district, which was supposed to revitalize downtown, feels more like an island of development, while the rest of downtown still looks like it needs life support with empty storefronts and struggling businesses. So, what's the game plan? Well, the 2023 Downtown Vibrancy Strategy set aside $4.6 million for improvements. But seriously, nothing has really changed. Businesses don't want to invest when crime rates are up, and people feel unsafe just walking down Jasper Avenue at night. If Edmonton's downtown is dying, it's not just from bad luck. It's from years of missed opportunities and plans that sound great in meetings, but never seem to show up in real life. And the consequences? They're already here. What was once the city's economic and social hub is now plagued by crime, declining foot traffic, and business closures. And the data is clear. Here's why. Number one is crime. While Edmonton's overall crime rate declined by 2.5% in 2024, the downtown core has become more dangerous. Violent crime actually increased by 1.8% during the same period. And according to Edmonton Police Service crime maps, downtown sees over 100 criminal incidents per month. And that's just what's reported. Experts warn that underreporting and repeat offenses push the real numbers even higher. Just in April 2024, 2 separate hit-and-runs on Jasper Avenue happened within 12 hours. The first victim was struck at 109th Street, and the second was carjacked, dragged, and run over near 118th Street. Meanwhile, business owners are sounding the alarm about aggressive panhandling, drug activity, and shoplifting, particularly around 7-Eleven locations at 104th Street and 101 Street. But it's not just the streets. Edmonton's LRT system is pushing people away from downtown instead of bringing them in. Ridership has decreased by 36% since 2019, from 112,000 daily riders down to just 72,000 in 2023. And here's why. Transit-related crime and disorder complaints shot up 63% in just 2 years. Many stations like Government Station have no visible security, feel abandoned, and are frequently described as poorly maintained and unsafe. And here's the kicker. Fare evasion is costing the city $20 million per year. $20 million! And with only 50 transit officers covering over 80 stations, security is stretched way too thin. The result? Crime and disorder thrive. And let's be real. If public transit doesn't feel safe, reliable, or inviting, who's going to use it? Well, fewer and fewer people, and that's exactly what's happening. Next up, let's talk about failing infrastructure and accessibility. Because even if crime wasn't an issue, just getting to downtown Edmonton has become a nightmare. One of the biggest culprits? The 102 Avenue Bridge project. This thing has been choking accessibility for years, turning what should be improved connectivity into good luck getting here at all. Instead of helping, all these prolonged road closures and detours have done is push people away. Even the Downtown Business Association is practically begging the city to pause construction because at this point, it's hurting more than it's helping. And you don't have to take my word for it. The business closures downtown? Staggering. In just 1 year, 2024 through 2025, at least 9 notable restaurants and bars have shut down locations. They're downtown locations. Philistics, Uchalino, and Chicken for Lunch closed last year. And just last month, Italian Bakery also closed the Chinatown location. I mean, the list just goes on. And why did they close? Declining foot traffic, poor accessibility, and before anyone says, it's just a few places, let's look at downtown office occupancy rates. Right now, only 60% of downtown office space is occupied, down from 85% before the pandemic. That means 40% fewer workers are commuting downtown, and if fewer workers are coming in, that means fewer customers are spending less money. Less revenue means more closures, and at this point, the question isn't will businesses keep shutting down? It's how many more closures are we willing to tolerate before someone actually does something? And finally, let's talk about the cost of doing business downtown. Because even if a business somehow survives crime and accessibility issues, they're still getting crushed by sky-high financial pressures. Commercial property taxes are making it nearly impossible for businesses to stay afloat. Foot traffic is already dropping due to crime and accessibility problems, yet businesses are expected to pay more while earning less. It's a losing game, and unfortunately, many have no choice but to shut down or relocate. According to Edmonton's finance department, downtown used to contribute 10% of the city's municipal tax base, but in 2024, that number has plummeted to just 6.4%. And what's driving this? Office vacancies. 24% of downtown office spaces are sitting empty, one of the highest rates in Canada. With nearly 1 in 4 offices abandoned, property taxes have dropped, cutting the city's tax revenue. And who does the city pass that burden on to? The businesses that are still hanging on. A prime example is the Italian Bakery's Chinatown location. It shut down just 1 year after reopening. And why? Owner Rosalie Devens said it straight. High property taxes and low customer traffic made it unsustainable. Think about that. A well-established local favorite couldn't make it. So what chance do newer businesses even have? And it's not just the small guys. Even major commercial centers are struggling. Edmonton City Center Mall? It's lost nearly 50% of its stores in just a few years. Before the pandemic, it had 106 retailers. By 2022, it was down to just 63. Meanwhile, independent businesses downtown are paying more in rent and taxes than their suburban counterparts, but getting way fewer customers. So what happens next? Businesses downsize, relocate, or close entirely. And the more empty storefronts we see, the fewer reasons people have to even bother coming downtown. So yeah, when people say downtown Edmonton is dying, they're not wrong. Crime is up, businesses are closing, transit centers feel more dangerous than ever. And the city's big plan? Another task force, another strategy, another pile of reports buried in bureaucracy. We keep hearing about revitalization, but at this point, downtown doesn't need a fix, it needs a full-blown resurrection. And we need real action before it's too late. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to stay this way. We need real investment in affordable housing, well-funded mental health and addiction support, transit safety, and business incentives that actually bring people back downtown. Less talk, more action. The longer we wait, the harder it will be to turn things around. So, the question is, what's it gonna take? But hey, that's just my take. What do y'all think? Is downtown salvageable, or are we watching history in the making for all the wrong reasons? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. And if you liked this video, learned something new, or just vibed with me ranting about Edmonton's problems, hit that like button, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep the conversation going, because this city, it's ours, and it's up to us to make it a better place. See you in the next one.